So I went ahead, got the rear axle, got it pretty well centered, beta stuff, the outer unibody rails. I'm gonna go ahead, get the shackles and everything put back on loosely so I can kind of still move it around and keep at least the center line. And then I want to work on getting the pinion angle for the rear axle. Right now, that's kind of where I'm at. I'm looking pretty close to shooting straight at the transfer case, but I'll have to get under there and check it out a little bit more. But what I want to do is go ahead, get all the shackles back on and check center, and then I'll work on pinion angle. So after about an hour of measuring, a lot of back and forth, got the distance between the rails and my straight edge equal, about 15 and a quarter inch. This is about 7 inches from the outside of this to the outer part of the brake mount, the brake caliper mount. 7 inches on the dot, both sides, and I have my pinion angle pretty much set where I want. Now, just a reminder, the leaves or the axle is on its own weight, so basically this would be ride height. So let's go ahead, tack them in, and pull them back out, and then weld them again. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and tack these in. Let's do it. So in my haste, I got excited. I tacked everything in. Thankfully, I only tacked it. When I went and just did some more test fitting, I found that I was probably about 2 degrees too tall. So I'm gonna have to take everything apart, trim basically start all over again. So I'm gonna have to cut the tacks, grind the tacks down, recenter the axle, measure everything again, and set the right pinion angle. Right now, it looks like my angle is too tall. It's shooting just above the transfer case, which is not what you want. So, fun is, I'll be back in a few. All right, we're gonna go ahead, try this again. Got everything. Yep. So the Jeep is off, it's on its own weight. I did that right this time. I got the right angle. Everything measures out, everything's even. So let's go ahead, tack this thing in place, and then we can burn it in finally. So I had a little camera trouble, so I missed a couple things. I got the axle out, everything's final welded. Both brackets are in. Now I gotta work on my block off plate for the ABS speed sensor thingy. I already kind of pre-cut a piece of plate that looks like 3/16 maybe, and I rough sized it. Fits pretty well. Now it's just a tad long. I'm going to go ahead and cut this. Got a piece, round it off. I'm gonna go ahead and clean it up a little bit more, drill the hole, and we should be blocked off. All right, so got my block off plate. I'm gonna go test it out. Alright. It's nice and solid. I'm still going to go ahead and put some RTV under there just to seal it up nice and watertight, but yeah, I like it. So I went RTV'd my plate. Now, we'll bolt this sucker in.
I just wanna be someone you remember.
Let's try that again.
Star glowing like the sun. Can't you see my heart is so tender? And I just wanna dance and dance till I'm numb and I'm done. Now the rattling has just begun. Can you feel it now? When we're dancing to the stars.
There we go. Now I just gotta snug this up and hopefully set it and forget it. And just like everything on this XJ, every time I do something big, I find something new that I'm kind of dreading. That right there, that little black hole, is a crack. So I'm gonna go ahead, try to expose more of it to see what I'm looking at. So this is actually worse than I thought. I thought I just had a little hole there, but this looks like a whole cavity here, and what's hard to see is that the crack goes underneath this plate here and comes all the way out to here. Now if it was just a crack like this little hairline crack, I would literally I'd probably cut this back, I'd bevel this crack, drill either side of it, and then fill it in with weld. I gotta talk to some people, see what my options are. That's way worse than I expected. Alright, so after some talking with some local people that have dealt with this in the past, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to make a plate that basically goes from here all the way back here. I'm going to tie it into this metal here, the stiffener, and this piece right here. So I'm going to grind it all clean and start making some templates. So let's get grinding. So we're gonna go ahead and take this plate, we're gonna box in that crack. So I got a piece down here I'm gonna drill out, I'm gonna bezel this crack out just a little bit, fill that, grind it flat, then I'm gonna go ahead, I'm gonna bolt this up. I gotta bezel this a little bit. I wanna bolt it up, clamp it in place nice and tight, hammer it home, form it as tight as I possibly can get it, and then I'm going to weld it into the frame stiffener and to this this plate down here, and that should hopefully hold her, but we'll see. It's really faint. I did a light gouge of the crack, I drilled to the end, so I'm going to go ahead and fill the hole I drilled in the little gouge. It's not really big, that it was such a hairline crack. So that's why I wanted to kind of weld that up, even though I'm going to box it for my own peace of mind to keep that from spreading. So I know I have some bad welds. I'm going to go back, clean a lot of this up. Welding upside down kind of sucks. And kind of an afterthought, what I'm going to do is extend it all the way to here and make it look seamless, at least on this side. It'll help clean up this gap here, make everything level, so when I do make my track bar bracket, it'll be nice and flush and I don't have to worry about any big gaps. So off camera, I did some work. I didn't want to film it because I did a lot of trial and error and I'd be wasting a lot of time. I hated the track bar mount that I had. I put it here, it was an offset, it looked ugly, the angle wasn't right. So I went and used the Artec one that came with this truss. I was gonna put it here, but once again, I didn't like how my springs were lining up on the axle because the truss was made for a non-stretch. I stretched about 2 inches, so I had to move the cups back to get the springs to line up. And when I did, I was able to cut off about 2 inches of the perch here and move the track bar back. And now I have, I believe it's a 39 and a quarter inch draglink, and I have about a 39-inch track bar, which pretty damn good, man. And it ties in really well. Have enough space. Right now it's just tacked in because I want to fab up the setup before I finalize everything. But I'm kind of happy that I moved it over. Now, a lot of people ran it right here and said that they had no issues. But once again, everything that I've ever been told is that the track bar should roughly match the angle of your drag link as well as the length, as long as possible, or as much as possible. And I think here it was 32 and something inches. Here it's 39. So I got about 6 inches over. Now it's time to center the axle. Again, get on its weight, center the axle, and I want to start working on the track bar mount frame side. I was thinking about using quarter inch angle here. So here's the bracket I think I'm going to go with. Now, as you can see, there's a big gap there. I'm thinking about taking some quarter plate and making a cut this contour out and make that plate about this long, and then basically butt it up against this bracket and then weld it to the mount, kind of like this. I think that should be good. So we'll see. So that's kind of what it's going to look like. I might have to notch this out a little bit. Maybe what I'll do is I'll double up on this one too. Got my piece cut. I'm going to bezel it, move it in, get it nice and tight in there. I might round out this thing so I have room for a bolt and a nut head. A bolt head and or a nut. Maybe I'll do that. Just kind of a nice little cut there. But yeah, so I'm letting the other one cool. I gotta grind this down to fit. Put this over, and I think we're going to be in business. Cool. Put some slag in. Alright. I think we're right there. Maybe a little bit more right there, and we should be good. Matches it pretty good. Give it a shot. Alright, so I bezeled the 2 points so I can fill this, and let's pray this works. Grinder and paint make me a welder I ain't. Oh, you moron. Put this in grind mode. Cut, grind. Alright, don't mind the inside there, it's a little hard to get to that, but for the most part it's filled, it's whole, and I think we might be good. I think it's on the side. Yep, we got ourselves our angled bracket. Hell yeah! I still need to, clean up this mess, and I'm going to go ahead and sandwich that on there. Yep. Alright, I got everything cleaned up. I got my backing plates made. So I'm just going to go ahead, test fit this one more time, and then I'm going to tack it in, test fit it one more time, and then start welding this thing in place. Alright, so I've got the inner part of the Trackbar bracket welded. This part started spitting spotter and I don't know what the hell happened, but I'm going to go ahead, connect my sandwich plates in, clamp them down, and burn them in. Alright, it looks a little rough, and in all honesty, it kind of is, but I'll clean it up. It's tacked in now. I'm going to throw my test piece on there again. Yep, I think we'll be okay. I'm going to hammer this down, try to get it as close as I can to the body. And then I got to pull the spring out, but I'm going to get the rest of the bracket up in place.
1 week later.
Oh yeah. So I went ahead and got the linkages all set up. Now I've got a 39-inch track bar, 39-inch drag link, and I forgot what the length of the tie rod is, but it's much wider. I've got pretty good angles. Pretty parallel, and side to side. Now once again, this is at full lock. Let's level that out. Pretty parallel, nothing too extreme. Doesn't bind. I put it full stuff, both sides, and it seems to fit pretty well. So if you stuck around to the end of this video, I just want to say thank you very much. I know this video is kind of jumping all over, but if I really showed everything that I've been doing up until this point, this video would be hours upon hours long. If you like what you've seen so far, please consider subscribing and also click that little bell icon right next to the subscribe button. That'll let you know when I upload a video, which is roughly twice a month. So this build is still ongoing. I still have a very big list of things I have to get done before this, the beginning of the season and before this thing's even ready to roll out on the road. As you can see right here, I got a comp cut that I'm in the process of doing, which will most likely be a standalone video coming up next. So if you're interested in that, definitely stick around, subscribe, and hit that bell notification so you know when I upload it. With that being said, hope you guys enjoyed it. We'll catch you on the next one. Wow.